だ
Ultraman, hero from the stars, is a character that holds dearly in the hearts of many. Ever since his first appearance in 1966, Eiji Tsuburaya wanted Ultraman to not only give dreams to millions of children, but also protect them. He wanted this Toku hero to be a beam of hope whenever the darkest time comes. While Ultraman struggles to keep up with other Toku heroes like Power Rangers, Super Sentai, or even Kamen Rider, there was no sign for Ultraman to slow down. Today, Ultraman continues to evolve and grow not only in Asia but soon all over the world. But what is not really well known is what it took for Ultraman to even set foot on international lands. For years now, a company in Thailand by the name of Chaiyo Productions have been making money out of the Ultraman brand. When Tsuburaya found out about this, they took action immediately. This is the story of a fearsome battle between two corporations that will define the fate of Ultraman. This is the story of how intellectual property is controlled and abused around the world. This is the story of copyright infringement and epic legal battles. This is the story of Tsuburaya vs. Chaiyo, the battle for Ultraman. Before anything went south, Tsuburaya and Chaiyo were actually partners before. They made a few movies together such as The Six Ultra Brothers vs. the Monster Army and Jumborg, Ace and Giant. This was possible because the son of Eiji Tsuburaya, Noboru Tsuburaya, had made a deal in 1973 with a Thai filmmaker named Sompote Sandechai. Sompote got a Thai government scholarship to study cinematography in Japan. When he returned to Thailand, he founded Chaiyo Productions. The word Chaiyo means celebration or victory. The deal between Tsuburaya and Chaiyo is now named the 1973 Agreement, and it gave Chaiyo the rights to broadcast the first 6 Ultra series and Jumborg Ace in Thailand. Tsuburaya at first thought they made a good partnership with a reliable company. However, what they did not know is that Chaiyo is actually doing something shady behind the scenes. Not long after the 6 Ultra Brothers vs. the Monster Army was made, Chaiyo approached Toei to get the rights to Kamen Rider. Even though Toei rejected them, they went ahead and used some of the Kamen Rider characters and made a movie anyway. In 1974, they made Hanuman and the 5 Riders. The movie is fascinating. But what's even more fishy is that many of the footage from the movie is stolen from the movie 5 Riders vs. King Dark. It will soon be followed by a bunch of ridiculous movies made by Chaiyo. If this is a sign of anything, it is the sign of danger. In June of 1995, Noboru Tsuburaya passed away, and his son, Kazuo Tsuburaya, is now the CEO of Tsuburaya Productions. Shortly after becoming CEO, Sompote went to visit Kazuo to present him a contract. The contract in question was made in 1973, which gave Chaiyo the international rights for Jumborg Ace and the first 6 Ultra series. According to Sompote, Noboru told him in 1973 that Tsuburaya Productions were having financial issues and he was planning to sell the company. I couldn't let the company down and suggested we make a movie together. I lent Noboru 2.02 million Thai baht to produce Jumborg Ace and Giant, Sompote Sangdechai. He also said Tsuburaya was loaned 44 million Thai baht and Noboru made the 1976 contract because the debt was simply too big to pay back. He had borrowed 200 million yen and could not pay back then, so he granted my company the rights. Tsuburaya was not only suspicious of the contract, but also the supposed deal between Sompote and Noboru. For starters, Noboru never told anyone about this deal. You would think the rights to an intellectual properties between two CEOs would at least be announced to some higher ups or something like that. But no, Noboru never told anyone. And it's not like he can forget about this, he had over 20 years to do so. Other things that needs to be taken into consideration is the fact that Tsuburaya has already started international marketing for Ultraman. If Chaiyo really had the rights for Ultraman internationally, shouldn't they at least come to Tsuburaya and file a complaint? And once again, they had 20 years to do this. But the most glaring issue is the contract itself. The contract is filled with spelling errors and misinformation. For example, it called Ultra Q as Ultraman 1 Ultra Q, which is wrong. And Ultra 7 is called Ultraman 7, which is also wrong. For the obvious reasons, Tsuburaya insisted that the contract is nothing more than a forgery. The names of some shows are misspelled or just plain wrong. Not only that, Noboru's signatures isn't his official one. Masaaki Umemoto, Managing Director of Tsuburaya Productions. In 1998, the case was fought over at the Thailand Intellectual Property and International Trade Court, or IPIT. During the trial, Tsuburaya pointed out all of the mistakes of the contract and got several people who know Noboru personally to testify that the signature was not his. While the trial was still going on, Tsuburaya completely stopped international marketing for Ultraman except in Japan. Tsuburaya also completely stopped literature of Ultraman for both Singapore and Malaysia. Tsuburaya said that they'll keep this up until the case is finally settled in court. This has led to a slight backlash against Thai Ultraman fans who have been assumed to be supporters of Chaiyo. Luckily, however, this backlash died within a day or two. In the year of 2000, the IPIT court declared that the sole copyright owner of Ultraman as a character in the TV show solely belonged to Tsuburaya. But despite that, the court ruled in favor of Chaiyo, primarily because Noboru's Hanko seal was present in the contract. The court said that in Japan, documents must have a Hanko sign that has been registered by the government. Tsuburaya tried to make an appeal. They even did it in the Tokyo District Court. While Tsuburaya stayed silent on this issue, Sompote went out public and announced the formation of Tsuburaya Chaiyo. Sompote decided to BS even further by saying that he was a co-creator of Ultraman. He said that while Eiji Tsuburaya was making the original Ultraman, he showed him a few images of Buddha statues and told him, since Godzilla is an animal, the new hero should be a human. If that's not bullshitting, I don't know what is. In February of 23rd, 2003, both Japanese and Thai courts finally decided on who is the clear victor. But due to misinformation and Sompote generally being an asshole, the final ruling was left in some dispute. Sompote held a press conference saying that Chaiyo actually won the battle and they now have full rights to Ultraman as a whole internationally. I have fought for 7 years and have documents that prove I was in the right, and now intend to enhance Ultraman's commercial prospects. The fight was not just for me nor my family, but for the dignity of all Thais. In reality, nothing had changed. Chaiyo did not receive any additional rights, and all they had were the rights to the original 6 Ultra series, and that was it. Eventually, in April 27, 2004, the court agreed that Chaiyo only had usage rights to the first 6 Ultra series, and Tsuburaya is the sole owner of Ultraman's copyright worldwide. Another thing the court declared is that Tsuburaya is the only one that can make new Ultraman characters, shows, and media, and Sompote is by no means a co-creator of Ultraman. While it was finally declared who was the winner, once again, with misinformation and Sompote BSing around, the media was confused. Thai news and Asian media reported that Sompote was given the international rights to Ultraman, and he had licensed over 30 different Ultraman characters. Others said Tsuburaya need to pay damages to Chaiyo. This was only the beginning of the downward spiral. During the battle, Tsuburaya Chaiyo created 3 new Ultramans: Ultraman Millennium, Ultraman Elite, and Dark Ultraman. They first appeared in the Ultraman Bangkok live show. Eventually, on May 24, 2005, Tsuburaya Chaiyo, Apex Culture, and Guangzhou Rushi Culture is now working on a new Ultraman show. Chaiyo will fund 50% of the budget, Rushi will supply the 40%, and Apex will fund the remaining 10%. The TV show is called Project Ultraman. To be serious for a while, the show actually looks really promising. The suits themselves is well made, and the effects are really decent. They made a theme song for it, they made a theme park out of it, and even had a Hong Kong star named Eun Chang on the project. Project Ultraman is supposed to air on Chinese Central Television on December and slowly spread all over Asia. Tsuburaya Chaiyo even started to license more recent Tsuburaya characters like Ultraman Dyna, Tiga, Cosmos, and more to BCI Eclipse to make DVDs. But once again, it was plagued with the same problems as mentioned before, alongside with poor video quality and audio quality. Tsuburaya was furious of the news. The court already said that Chaiyo cannot create their own Ultraman, and now Chaiyo is making a full-fledged TV show without Tsuburaya knowing. Eventually, Tsuburaya dragged Chaiyo to the Beijing court on August 23, 2006, and they opened the Ultraman Copyright Study Group to further manage the problem. The battle lasted until April 2, 2007, where the IPIT court ruled in favor of Tsuburaya Productions. Sompote Sandaichai, Chaiyo Productions, and Tsuburaya Chaiyo had no rights to any Ultraman material except those that had been obtained in the 1976 contract. The court also determined that Sompote and all affiliated companies have no rights to create their own Ultraman, such as Millennium, Elite, and Dark Ultraman. The ruling put a deadly halt to Project Ultraman, which had been reported to have a budget of 150 million Thai baht. Chaiyo Productions and all affiliated companies was panicking. Not only did they invest so much money and time into the project, but also some of them already even made merchandise for it too. But despite all of that, now they need to stop everything. Sompote was given 30 days to file an appeal, and he did a few intensive moves during that time. He first tried to get Project Ultraman to be publicized at the Heroes Festival. Over 20,000 people attended, but in the wake of the court ruling, Hero Festival rejected anything related to Chaiyo. In April 11, Thai News The Nation made an article titled "Superheroes Unmasked as Outlaws." Eventually, on May 7, 2007, the court declared the following: Sompote only had the rights to what he had obtained in 1976, i.e. the 6 Ultra Brothers, Jumborg Ace, and the 2 movies, and he does not have the rights to Ultraman as a character. The court ordered all 3 companies to pay 15 million Thai baht to Tsuburaya. Chaiyo also no longer had the rights to make Ultraman merchandise, events, or theme parks. This was a massive victory for Tsuburaya, but before they could celebrate, trouble came back. In 2009, the Thai Intellectual Property Court and the Tokyo District Court suddenly found favor of Chaiyo. Tsuburaya was soon forced to pay 16.36 million yen to Sompote and Chaiyo for violating the overseas Ultraman copyright on September 30, 2010. This was terrible news for Tsuburaya. Not only did they spend so much time and money on this battle, but they were also working on a highly anticipated movie. Despite that, however, Chaiyo now have the rights to Ultraman outside of Japan. In 2014, Ultraman is scheduled to hit 50 years old, so Chaiyo wanted to capitalize on this anniversary, so they plan to release a 6-season box set containing over 325 episodes. The set will contain Ultraman, Ultra 7, Return of Ultraman, Ultraman Ace, Ultraman Taro, and Ultraman Leo. But for whatever reason, the box set was cancelled. Other products planned for the Ultraman Forever website includes a collector's book, a collection of Ultraman posters, and even an art book. Eventually, on May 10, 2015, Ultraman USA Inc. was founded by Chaiyo, and its mission was to distribute several Ultraman figures and a few Blu-ray series to the USA. They even planned a whole movie and a new television series, but they never materialized. In 2012, Chaiyo decided to make things more complicated by giving the rights to the first 6 Ultra series to a company named UMC. If you're an Ultra fan in Asia, you may most likely encounter a few Ultraman artwork made by UMC. For example, their version of Ultra 7 gave him orange eyes and a more metallic face. UMC became an unofficial Ultraman licensee and distributed Ultraman merchandise throughout Asia, and Tsuburaya was not happy about it. To make matters worse, UMC transferred the rights to Ultra Q, Ultraman, and Ultra 7 to Vendera Entertainment in 2014. Vendera soon uploaded some episodes of the early Ultra series on YouTube. Tsuburaya demanded Vendera to take down the videos, which they did because they feared there would be a lawsuit. And you know what? There is. UMC sued Tsuburaya and the battle would take place at the California Federal Court. UMC accused Tsuburaya, claiming they are violating the 1976 agreement. They also attacked Tsuburaya for distributing Ultraman series that they deemed to be too similar to the original, such as Ultraman Tiga. Eventually, UMC decided to make things more complicating by granting the rights to Ultraman to a Chinese-based company named Guangzhou Blue Arc. And when Blue Arc received the rights, they created what's possibly the worst creation in human history.
地球一定要由我们人类自己的双手来保卫，而不是你一个外星人。
In July 10, 2017, Blue Arc held a press conference announcing they will be making a sequel to their long-running movie Dragon Force. The movie is titled Dragon Force: So Long Ultraman. The movie is weird enough on its own, but what's even more weirder is the villain in the story. The villain in the story is a really fucked up Ultraman, and everyone around the world is not happy about this. Ultraman fans all over the world quickly slammed the movie on the internet, calling it a creepy domestic ripoff. And to be fair, they have good reasons for it. I mean, just look at the damn thing. He looks so damn scary. Even Ultraman Dyna star Takeshi Tsuruyo took his anger to Twitter. So you finally showed yourself, fake Ultraman, wearing the mask of justice to deceive the children of China. I will not forgive this dirty villain. And if things are not bad enough, Dragon Force creator Kazuya Hatazawa said that he was really disappointed in the sequel and he was not involved with it whatsoever. During the conference, they had a guy cosplaying a really fucked up Ultraman where he's only wearing a mask, shorts, and covered in body paint. Blue Arc actually got the license to Ultraman last minute by UMC. So they decided to, in order for the movie to become more popular, they will shove Ultraman into the movie and make him the villain of the story. Eventually, Tsuburaya stepped in and said they are not involved in the creation of the movie whatsoever. They call out Guangzhou for everything, like using various footage of other Ultraman shows and misrepresenting what Ultraman was supposed to be. Tsuburaya said they intended to make decisive measures to stop those who are responsible for the movie, including, quote, vigorous legal actions. It is time for Tsuburaya Productions, The Victim, to commence their counterattack. Tsuburaya made their first move by taking UMC, Chaiyo, and all affiliated groups to a court in Los Angeles. Watching over the court is Judge Andrea Bairote Jr. The battle began at November 20, 2017, and Tsuburaya came back with a victory. However, before Tsuburaya can celebrate, UMC tried to fight back by bringing Tsuburaya back to court. This lasted until April 18, 2018, where the court decided to finally end it with a favor of Tsuburaya. They banned UMC and all affiliated companies to all usage of the Ultraman brand, and all of them needed to pay 45,555.47 USD to Tsuburaya. While Tsuburaya claims that the amount was 4.5 million USD, I think it's safe to say that Tsuburaya is now the clear victor. Despite that clear victory, however, UMC tried to fight back in May 7, 2018 by filing an appeal. In the eyes of UMC, the court was biased and made certain errors. But once again, on December 5th, 2019, the court once again ruled in favor of Tsuburaya, and UMC was required to pay all damages. The lawsuit also resulted in the ban of the release of Dragon Force: So Long Ultraman internationally. But despite that, Blue Arc fought back by making a sequel named Dragon Force: Rise of Ultraman. The movie came out in January 8, 2019, and it was directed by Tommy Wong, who also directed So Long Ultraman. Chinese people slammed the movie on Chinese social media, especially those who are aware of the UMC's involvement. But despite that, the movie grossed over 10 million Chinese yuan in just 3 days. Even though it was clear that Tsuburaya had a clear victory in 2018, Blue Arc said they were authorized by the Chinese government and they are making 5 more sequels for 2020. Tsuburaya said they are going to take legal actions against Blue Arc in Shanghai. They said they were the sole copyright owner of Ultraman, and UMC, Blue Arc and all affiliated companies have no rights for Ultraman. Blue Arc soon responded by criticizing Tsuburaya for quote, unlawful competition and harassment. The battle for Ultraman was an intensive battle that not a lot of people are aware of, but the effects of the battle can be clearly seen of how Ultraman is made today. For example, back then, all Ultraman toys and merchandise was kept to a minimum and consistent, seeing that they had nothing to worry about with financial issues. But now, they lost a ridiculous amount of money from this battle, and they need to make as much Ultraman toys as possible to regain profits. The effects of this battle can never be as more clearly as in the Hollywood movie Ready Player One. In the finale of Ready Player One, the main villain becomes Mechagodzilla and is about to crush our heroes, but soon the Iron Giant and the Gundam appear and stop him. While this scene is cool on its own, in the original book that the movie is based off of, the Iron Giant and the Gundam was not the one that will come and destroy Mechagodzilla, but instead Ultraman is the one that comes and destroys him. That could have been the first time we see Ultraman in cinemas, but because nobody knew who owned Ultraman at the time, Steven Spielberg, the director of the movie, decided that he would add the Iron Giant and Gundam as the substitute for Ultraman. And thus, Ultraman was completely removed from the movie and instead replaced by the Iron Giant and the Gundam. To this day, Tsuburaya Productions still have trouble to secure the rights to Ultraman, and from the looks of things, they do not have a sign of slowing down. But whatever the case is, one thing is for certain. The battle for Ultraman is finally over. For now.